We make we shout Mayegun don't come, Mayegun the command of the masses. Mayegun don't come, Mayegun diary political. Mayegun don't come, this one not day of in mind. Mayegun don't come, person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that Mayegun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say Mayegun diary, he they hot like pepper. But every day then they take money in bulk. Woman picking, they the street they hawk. Still them talk say, make we no talk. But thank God say, Mayegun don't come. So my people make you loud, Mayegun don't come, My people make you shout, Mayegun don't come,
Hello there.
Mayegun la wa mo, la mo do.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Mayegun la wa mo, la mo do.
Good morning to you, good afternoon to you, and good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. This is Mayegun Live.
Lórí Facebook, lórí YouTube.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Mayegun já wa sí.
Mayegun diary.
Thank you. Please share this broadcast. I say make I try this again tonight and see how it goes. If you like it this way, we can keep it just like that.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Ó sì tún ṣe eré wà á gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Mayegun diary political.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun.
As you are joining this broadcast, you know what to do. Like the broadcast, share it, okay? Read the caption and then the whole body, the description as well, just before you settle down, please.
Àní Mayegun làwa mọ̀ do.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
What do you think about this?
Mayegun ti dé, ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì.
Mayegun ti dé,
Àní ẹ̀ súnra kì.
Mayegun ti dé,
Lórí Facebook,
Mayegun ti dé,
àní ẹ̀ súnra.
Share this broadcast. The news of arrested vessel stealing 800,000 barrels of Nigeria crude oil and what happened after. The full story. Share this.
Ìjọ ìgbádùn yẹ.
Mayegun mami,
Àní ẹ̀ súnra kì.
Mayegun ti dé,
Presido bá rúfin o.
Mayegun mami,
What about this?
Mayegun ti dé,
Kí gómìnà kówó jẹ.
I could be switching,
Àní ẹ̀ súnra kì.
but I don't want to ruin your eyes.
Ọlọ́pàá ti ń darí pa.
I will stay with one.
Àní ẹ̀ súnra kì.
Mayegun ti dé,
Aṣòfin ti ń rúfin o.
Mayegun mami,
Àní ẹ̀ súnra kì.
Mayegun ti dé,
Òwúrọ̀ olóṣèlú.
Mayegun mami,
Àní ẹ̀ súnra kì.
Mayegun ti dé,
Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì.
Tifnubu is afraid of rerun. You probably have been reading about possible rerun everywhere you turn to in the last 48 hours or so. I'll tell you the genesis.
Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Àní ẹ̀ súnra kì.
Mayegun ti dé,
Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì.
Mayegun ti dé,
Àní ẹ̀ súnra kì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Mayegun ti dé.
Motideo. So good morning to you, good afternoon to you, and good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. It is Mayegun Live. I bet you have come across that news of the arrested vessel in Nigeria. Something that kind of sounded like a breakthrough, a kind of a breaking news you would hear, and will give you this kind of a sense of settlement, kind of, about Nigeria, and say, oh, maybe they are beginning to do things right. Anyway, it is my pleasure to tell you tonight, or wherever time you are watching this, you don't know the whole story, and you deserve to know the whole story and the fraud behind this, and most importantly, like in particular, the economic terrorism that this actually represent or represented. Ladies and gentlemen, NNPC, or should you call them Nigeria NLPLC, the privatized national oil company in Nigeria, they shared a clip. In case if you haven't seen it, right? I have a clip here where they are celebrating the discovery of a massive vessel stealing crude oil from Nigeria, from Ondo State to Delta State, and somehow found its way to the backyard of Tompolo. Just to understand the backstory, we'll use this as the beginning from the NNPLC. But Tompolo was the one who discovered it. Watch this.
There is one here too. There are two. On the other side of the park here. All the boats are bigger than there.
So that's the vessel. But here is the backstory. Remember, sometimes in February this year, when they said they discovered a vessel stealing crude oil in Nigeria, and in order to give credence to the years of our exposure and me exposing this oil theft in Nigeria, they finally admitted, and they said, oh, we caught one. Now, when you finally catch one of these guys, what would you do as a country? You have the people who are stealing your crude oil. You have the vessel laden with your crude oil on your water. So what would you do first? In Nigeria, what they did was to destroy the evidence. They burned down the vessel, and they claimed to have arrested the crew on that vessel. But you see, this particular one is a very unique story. Okay? You see that vessel you saw in that video, it's not just any vessel. In 2011, that same vessel was arrested on Nigeria water for the same crime, stealing crude oil. The owners of the vessel is a well-known person in Niger Delta as well, like very well known. Now, when he got arrested by Nigeria, right, and the vessel got confiscated, end of story. Yesterday, the same vessel was arrested on Nigeria water, stealing crude oil. How? The story is that immediately after the announcement of the arrest of the vessel in 2011, by the end of 2011, 2012, this was under Goodluck Ebere Jolantano, the vessel was released, and it just continued its business. From the record, they said this vessel has been lifting hundreds of thousands of crude oil out of Nigeria on a regular basis for the past 12 years. I don't want to do the math. Okay? But there is even like more bigger story behind it. So what now happened is that, remember that Asari Dokubo has become the friend to Tifnumbu. Okay? During the election, Asari Dokubo was said to have bragged that even though the peanuts he got under, even though whatever he got under Bokwari was peanuts, that when Tifnumbu become president, the contracts of protecting the pipelines, the waterways, and the rest of that will solely rest on him. And that position has been the position that Tompolo has enjoyed for the past 10 years. The last time, the Nigeria Maritime Service, Nigeria Navy, Nigeria Military, and Nigeria whatever security they abandoned the security of Nigeria waterways, including the important oil facilities. They handed them straight to the hands of Niger Delta militants. Now, in the real context, in the reality, these people can be considered or classified as economic terrorists. Nigeria is a country whereby the crude oil happened to be the major forex earner for Nigeria, and should have been the most protected and the most accountable sector of Nigeria life. But it has been the most corrupt and the darkest of the darkest corruption you can come across on this surface of the earth. It is so bad that it's more or less like irredeemable. And here it is. Tompolo is more powerful than the Nigeria military, Nigeria Navy, and all of these guys in maritime and all of that. To the point that he was being paid 4 billion naira every month. And you know what they did? Remember the time of Niger Delta militancy, when some people believed that they were fighting because of their exclusion from the proceeds of oil, which is their own resources. The people, the places have become so environmentally sort of destroyed. Economy, maritime economy in that part of Nigeria is almost non-existent, right? So they had the right, they are fighting for the marginalization. That's why they bought guns. Initially, remember, the Yaradua came and he gave them amnesty. Now, giving them amnesty was that, listen, all of you who have picked up arms will send you to school anywhere in the world. The rest of you will be paying you salary and the rest. So don't attack oil installation, because their activity led to economic sabotage. In that protest, everybody felt like, oh, they are fighting for the people. No. So what came out of that was that they have different warlords in different parts of Niger Delta. And the rivalry between the supremacy between them is is sort of defined by the amount of firepower they control. When I say firepower, there are only two group of people that can start war in Nigeria today, and they have what it takes. I'm not saying they win any war, but like they can start what is called civil war in Nigeria, and it can shake the entire world. What will be happening? They are two. All right. The first one are the Boko Haram Fulani terrorists combined, all the jihadists up north. They have weapons, including rocket launcher and the rest of that. The second set are the Niger Delta militants. So immediately the deal of amnesty came up. So instead of them being called militants, with the weapons and everything they have, okay, they smartly turned to security companies, private security companies. So there were those kidnapping oil workers and the rest, okay, for ransom. Now they became the provider of security for the oil workers and any oil installation, as long as you give us a cut. So that kind of gave them a bit of relative peace when the government of Nigeria abandoned the security of oil installation and the rest. So what then happened? It became, instead of the security Nigerian government agents, security and the rest of them, to provide security in Niger Delta, they also became contractors to oil workers, oil thieves, oil bunkerers, and the rest. So the business was going on smoothly. Under Boko Haram, for 8 years, they were stealing over 700,000 barrels of crude oil in Nigeria every day. You heard me right, oh. Every day, they were stealing 700,000 barrels of crude oil. Nigeria was producing 1.9 million to 2.1 million barrels of crude oil every day before 2015, before these guys came. Then what happened? Nigeria started losing the revenue from crude oil because Nigeria was losing the crude oil to thieves. From 1.8 million, 1.9 million every day, Nigeria oil production dropped drastically. At a point, it dropped to 800,000 a day. So do you know those differences? They were going into, it was like a big business. And Asari knows, but he's not being cut a deal. He's not being given part of that, chunk for years. And this is true, okay? So it became news. Tompolo has won another contract, 4 billion every month. And if you see these guys, they have gun boats. They have a monitoring boat, speed boat, everything. They are armed to the teeth. Their job is to protect the pipelines and the oil from Niger Delta from being stolen, But for 7-8 years, the stealing was steady. But when election was coming, they needed the scapegoats. So they showed us one. They didn't give us details. They burned the evidence down. And few months after that, the vessel that was confiscated 12 years ago, that disappeared and nobody was looking for it, was operating in Nigeria for 12 years, lifting stolen crude oil. So, Asari could be in charge of Niger Delta pipeline security. So let's show some workings. We have caught another vessel that is stealing crude oil in Nigeria. 800,000 barrels of crude oil is, currently inside that vessel. Breaking news. Tompolo found it. Now called the Nigeria Navy and the rest. And they came with cameras. Some of them were even eating. Okay? I'll show you a few clips. These are, available clips out there from the scene. Okay? Here is one of, hang on, where is that one that they seems? Okay, I'll give you the one that give you the closer look of the vessel. Okay? And I'll tell you what happened after. Another one. Sonistainia, kind of.
You can see the vessel. This is the vessel. This is the vessel that was apprehended by Tantita security personnel. You can see the platform with which they are loading their oil from here in the offshore of Ondo State. And you can see the vessel. You can see the vessel. The vessel and the crew members have been arrested, and you can see.
Shemi and you fit go get vessel, sail straight into the Ondo water, Ondo State, come bring out our pipe, everything, come the load, come the pump fuel. come the pump crude oil from the source, Nigeria source. Sure, you think it's possible, Abi? Wait, the story gets more interesting. Watch this too. There is arrest, by the way. I'll show you that one.
I want you must have got it through badges, yeah? Bad. No problem. That's alright. That's fine. Hope you have no issues. Do you have any issues? Do you have any questions for us? See? This one has no it doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. Even if government gets involved, I will be there. You understand? This is not the first time I'm doing something like this. It's not the first time I've got cooperating people. People who don't give us hard time. They give us hard time, then I take my hand off it. You understand me? But you don't give us hard time, even the possibility of working with you.
or the movie, right, is like a script. And let me tell you something. Somebody lifting crude oil from Nigeria for 12 years, free oil that he can sell anywhere he wanted, anywhere. They were headed for Cameroon, according to the story. Well-written scripts. Tompolo boys, they arrested a vessel where it is loading crude oil from Ondo State. Okay? And it's very simple. If you ask me, my own verdict is that, see, about this contract where we they do for here, it be like say Asari won't collect time, and we need to show that we have the capacity. About we go sacrifice your vessel. She mean not the stolen vessel. I mean, it was meant to be a stolen vessel anyway. We go sacrifice them all, for Nigeria to show working. We bring camera, bring everybody, just for the whole show. After the whole thing, when we settle, when the contract is back on track, you can go back and be doing your business. That's my verdict. But that may not be yours. And don't blame me, because nobody say I have trust issue. But when it comes to the criminals in Nigeria, it is what they call the more you look, the less you see. In this case, I get trust issue. Anything with has to do with Nigeria, and I've always been right. How about that? I've always been right. When I have that feeling and all that, it always makes sense, because I'm not picking all these things up from the blues. I'm putting pieces of information together to build a whole story that can give you a clearer picture that they are not showing you, or they don't want you to see, or they actually don't want you to see that way. So you follow them, we go burn them, we go do this, we go do that. But maybe this guy will tell you more what they are doing. Watch this.
We're here because of a criminal ship that has terrorized Nigeria's economic sovereignty in terms of maritime for over 10 years. And we've been able to bring that particular vessel or ship called Ali Rizabe, whom later turned his name into Turatu, to book. That's why we're here today. And we've been after this vessel for a very, very long time. It's been frequenting quite a lot of platforms and jackets here and there. It's operated by a company called Holab Maritime Services, and somehow, somewhere, via satellite intelligence and also human intelligence afloat, we've been able to apprehend this vessel off Ondo State, and we brought the vessel here for you all to see. We're here because of a criminal ship that has terrorized Nigeria's economy. Advice is for them to stop, okay? Because in as much as they are not going to sleep, we are also not going to sleep, because we have to protect this country. So we are not going to sleep also. And you can see the boats everywhere. It's a clear sign that the Nigerian government forces are also not relenting in the matter. So they are going to meet us dollar for dollar in this particular business if they want to continue. However, having said all of this also, I will advise those who are intending to invest their ships in Nigerian waters from the international waters that you will not get away. You will lose your asset. If you give any Nigerian a ship to come and perpetrate crime, I guarantee you, you're going to lose your asset, because the Nigerian government is not.
That's a civilian, no? But it's a militant that speak for the militants. So, for the media, we are doing everything to protect this country, and Nigerian government is not going to sleep. All of that now for the camera. But it is also at the same, it is also a show of shame to tell you that the giant of Africa cannot protect our own waters. Can't protect your borders. You can't protect your waters. You can't protect your people. The giant of Africa. Tell me that, which kind of giant be that? The almighty Nigeria military, Nigeria Navy. Asari Dokubo came out and said they were those behind oil bunkering, stealing of crude oil. You heard him the last time. He said it inside the old rock villa. He made that allegation. He said it. And he said he has spoken with President Tifnumbu. And President Tifnumbu is going to make some changes soon, including change the contractors who are, militants who are now contractors protecting the pipeline that is taking the crude oil, the crude oil from Niger Delta and all these places. And the people from that place, anyway, collateral damage. No be so? So people believe that that's just a show off. Do you know what happened next? I'll show you. Immediately after, less than 24 hours, so ladies and gentlemen, they don't burn the ship, set it on fire, burn evidence again. Ondo crude oil, that crude oil, 800,000 barrels, if there is no corruption in Yoruba nation, Ondo states, if they have access to their resources, do you know how much money they will make from 800,000 barrels of crude oil for Ondo people to spend on everything that has to do with their infrastructure? You know what I mean? Imagine that. 800,000 barrels and set them on fire because they want to warn other people from coming to come and steal crude oil in Nigeria. Show you.
You get it? Okay. If you don't get it, forget about it. You get it?
That's it. The end of Solomon Grundy. A vessel stealing 800,000 crude oil from Nigeria, confidently loading it at the platform. This one is not even like going to tap pipeline or ship move down like normal. So people are saying that, you know what? It is all scripted towards Tompolo and his team to continue to safeguard and protect Nigeria waters from the oil thieves. And they just did a wonderful job. Abba, they are capable than the Nigeria military, the Nigeria Navy, the Nigeria Maritime Service, and all those kind of different government agents that are working in Niger Delta. Everybody cashing out, milking Nigeria, economic saboteurs, or easily put, economic terrorists. That's who they are. That they are not pointing gun at you, kidnapping you and taking your money. It does not make them less of terrorists. Because with the activities of these guys and collaboration of Nigeria government, they are robbing you, robbing the people of the resources that could actually make life meaningful for them. And there is no end in sight. And someone would cry today, cry tomorrow. I say, you will never see cry. The worst type of cry is the one that doesn't come with tears. That one is more dangerous. And that is what most Nigerians are passing through right now. If I must tell you, people are crying inside. Do you know what that means? People sit down beside you and they are saying, this economy. If you are crying and you are teary, in fact, that is healthy. You know what it is now in Nigeria? They can't even cry openly. They cry inside. And that is more dangerous, health-wise, from people who have, who have shared that with us in the past. However, ladies and gentlemen, talking about terrorists, Nasarawa. Yesterday, I told you about the terrorists who have banned fishermen or fishing in Borno. 6 communities or 8 communities in Borno, declared fatwa on anybody that is a fisherman, you will die, they will say. They kill those they can kill and chase away those they can chase away, and nobody can save you. Those are terrorists from Borno. The terrorists in Plateau State, Josie, Baba, they killed over 450 Nigerians in a space of 2 months, Baba. 450 human beings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Baba, if I ask you to count 1 to 450, it will likely take you more than 15 minutes. Just count, not to say count 450 people and tell me how many hours that would take you. That's how many people killed by these terrorists in Plateau State. In Benue State, they have killed over 70 people just 2 days ago. 21 youth were slaughtered by these Fulani terrorists. Also, Middle Belt and North. Ladies and gentlemen, Nasarawa has been under intense terrorism in the last 72 hours. No joke. It may not be making news in Nigeria that much, but let's give thanks to the crew of Arise Television or Arise News. They were able to bring this to fore with visual evidence. Over 150 people have been killed in Nasarawa State alone by terrorists who are chasing after their mineral resources. Lithium. Lithium. Do you know what is called lithium? Abokonkani. Baba, they said before this whole thing, lithium used to be around $1,500 $500 per ton. They said this in the last 5 years, lithium price has jumped to over 10,000%. They are now selling a ton for over $80,000. And hunting for this requires chasing the people who are the owners of the land away. 150 slaughtered is not making headway. You are not even angry in Nigeria. Do you know Kenyans are beginning to protest now? You know why they are protesting? Cost, high cost of living, so to say. Okay? Everything is going up and going up and going up. They can no longer bear it. They are on the streets right now. In Nigeria, they are slaughtering people. They don't make news that much. Okay? People are going through hell right now. They can only tell you when they come around to ask you for help. They can't ask their government. Unfortunately, Abi. Right. I'll take you quickly to Nasarawa. I think I have the clip here.
These are lorries operated by a mining company in Nasarawa State, leaving the site fully loaded with substances suspected to be lithium. They are being transported to places where other aspects of production are carried out before it is ready for export. The fact that the movement is taking place at night raises questions about the legality of their operations. The community is accusing the company of illegally operating on the land without approval. Sani Adagbaoku is an indigene of the community. He says he is the owner of the property on which the mining activities are being carried out. He's also brandishing this document originating from a high court in Nasarawa State, indicating an interim injunction restraining the Chinese company from trespassing or carrying out any activity whatsoever on the disputed land. However, this has not stopped the Chinese company from going ahead with its mining on the over 50 hectares of land. The community also accuses the security operatives of providing cover for the illegal operation. The arrival of a TV crew at the location is met with stiff resistance by the security team of the mining company. They overpower the policemen providing cover for journalists who have come to investigate the claim and counterclaims being made over the land. There were also attempts to harass journalists and stop them from filming, thus necessitating the discreet recording. Sani Adagba explains that the company claims to have bought the land from some unverified persons posing as family members.
So from the beginning, the information we got is that it's another person from this our community that went to sold the land to them, which the land does not belong to that family. So later on, after the investigation, they discover that the land belonged to us. So from then, they started approach us to, sit with them and write agreement with them, but which we say no. Because when they came, they say if we like, whether we like or not, they will work. And since they came in then, they were working there. So, and we even take the issue to the court stopped them from working, but then they refused to stop. And we don't want any violence.
Here you get the one that you understand. I know a lot of you know what is going on just listening to that, okay? But I'll give you the backstory. Corruption in Nigeria is different from corruption elsewhere. If you have corrupt people in your country, okay, and to you, they are so good, they are this and that, you need to sit down, okay, and listen to the citadel of corruption. And that corruption, whatever, makes it sound like elite, posh, something kind of, corruption is corrupt. I'm talking about heartless criminals who who rule a country or, in charge of a country. As they say, you will never get justice where criminals are making the law. May I explain this kind of corruption to you? When you see something wrong in the society, the first point of call is to call the government. And then, if the government can't kind of find a solution, you can then approach the courts. So when you approach the court and court makes a decision, it is now upon the government to ensure the implementation of that decision in a working society, settling disputes and all of that. But what do you do, or what would you do if the people you want to report to, those you want to seek redress from, are actually the orchestrator, the people behind what you are going through? May I explain them to you? In some part of Nigeria, there are some illegal mining companies that are not illegal. They are illegal in the sense that there are people who have cited different kinds of mineral resources across Nigeria. And by so doing, they have mapped Nigeria and what Nigeria has. And with the ones they have interest in, they have mobilized resources like money to those who are supposed to be in government to keep the law. And somehow, some of these people are now brandishing licenses to mine anything in Nigeria. Now, what happened next? Some of these people, they now approach different communities. Most of these communities in Nigeria, they are agrarian communities. These are people who are naturally generational farmers. They toil their land every season. They are mostly not aware what is under their ground. But you see, what is under their ground has now become a curse rather than a blessing. Those who know better, who are supposed to protect them and their interests, they have sold them off to these faceless mining companies. Sure, you get? And when you look at all these mining companies, you will see Nigerians among them. That Nigerian is not there because he is interested in mining. He is interested in taking his share from the arrangee agreement that got them that license. He is the one who got those people, like those licenses. So when they now approach all these farmers, all these people in their communities, they approach to buy their lands. Majority of them won't sell. Some are willing to. Now you see this sell or no sell, they begin to take them, and the time to start mining those land when those time comes, they know those who are going to resist them. They know communities that fail to sell them their lands. They know people, prominent people in different areas who stood up against them when they are making all those illegal transactions. You may ask, where is government? I just told you. The government that you are asking of is behind this whole thing. Or who is government? Is government not the people in government? Unfortunately, most of these guys are actually people who come from these communities. They don't give a damn what happened to their people. So what happened? The mining companies who have already parlayed with those in government, they've provided them all of the kind of security they need. Remember, they have money and they know what they are going for. They know where exactly they are looking for, right? They mobilize Nigeria military. Nigeria security men carry Nigeria bought weapons. The guns they will carry, the bullets in those weapons, they are bought with taxpayers' money in Nigeria. But suddenly, they will turn to private security provider for these illegal miners. Do you see how illegal miners are not they are not mostly legal. Legal miners who are not legal that way. So those who are supposed to keep back report and say, these guys are doing some horrible things here. These are completely against Nigeria. And in all honesty, this is economic sabotage against Nigeria. Okay? Because all we saw, Nigerian military, Nigerian security men, they will see crime and they will protect that crime scene with everything in them because they have been told to provide security for them. Now, you see the Nigerians, those poor farmers, those poor villages and communities, they then come under siege. They are either ready to move. A lot of them have been kind of stopped from farming. Yeah? So they now deploy two ways of getting exactly what they want in Nigeria. Okay? So the first way is that if the communities won't sell, we can mobilize the terrorists there to displace them while we continue the extraction and all of that. This is the life of Nigerians in the last 10 years in Nigeria. It got so bad that in Nasarawa, watch this second clip from that same Nasarawa.
They refuse to stop, and we don't want any violence. Since we take the matter to court, we have also our lawyers do everything.
Reflecting on the activities of regulatory agencies who should exercise control over the company's operations, the community say they suspect foul play. They also accuse the traditional rulers of colluding with the miners.
So what we technically wanted them to do is to vacate that place. These are foreigners who come to our land without consent, without a proper license. They are being guided by soldiers, guided by DSS. With all the insecurity happening in this country, they're absolutely doing an illegal job there, as far as I'm concerned. Because if it is legal, that would be a situation where you have a legal license, you have a legal consent from the community. You don't have legal license, you don't have legal consent. Even if you purported to have a consent, that consent was defective. The rules for getting any consent, any license, you must have the consent of the community. You have interviewed the community. Do they have the consent? They resorted to even adopting this Baba, taking him and force him and backdate, a lease agreement, and force him to sign.
So they were discussing, and the Osajiri asked him to sign another paper. And Baba cannot read. He don't know what that paper means. So Baba said, no, he cannot sign. What this paper for? So according to Osajiri, I explained to him, but he said no. The Osajiri insisted that he is the king, and whatever he said, that's what works. So how can he say he cannot sign? So he wants to disobey the king in the palace. He now say, okay, if he will sign, let them call his lawyer. But his lawyer was not close, and his lawyer said he should not sign. But because of the pressure, they were pressuring him to sign. And he don't know it was consent letter that they are forcing him to sign. He says it's nothing.
With activities still ongoing despite a subsisting court order, the community is apprehensive events might snowball into a violent crisis, according to security experts.
So do you get the other part of the story there now? Eh? That is the story of an average poor Nigerian in Nigeria of today, wherever you come from. Royal fathers. Maybe I have told you about those in government, Abi? Royal fathers, kings in Nigeria. Once they get paid too, in fact, they are the champion of those selling their lands to these people. Are you sure you are going to take care of me? Will you take care of the king? Yes, we'll take care of you, sir. Everything you want. In fact, I just saw that that your car is 2010 car, sir. I can ask them to bring you 2023 Mercedes-Benz, Formatic, Maybach, this and that, sir. Just to let you know that once we start operation here, we will take care of you. We can even rebuild your palace. It is the king that will list the names of families who own the land in his own part, I mean, in his kingdom or whatever. This is how bad it has become. But there are other implications. Okay? Currently, Nigeria is facing food crisis, food inflation. Isn't it ironical that Nigeria, that is so blessed with the best of the best weather, including the best of the best soil, to grow any kind of food at any kind of weather, all weather, is a country that is so poor that it cannot grow our own food, feed our own citizen, and it became the largest importer of food in the entire Africa. Isn't it ironical? Because the last 10 years in Nigeria, I've seen the exponential growth of terrorism. A lot of people kind of feels this is primarily religious. We need your land. We need you to do this. We need to. If you are not, if you don't accept Islam, we're going to kill you. Boko Haram. If you don't give us your land, we're going to kill you. Fulani terrorists. Now we have discovered that it is not only religious or whatever. It is mainly mineral resources, and it is something that has been going on for years now. Sure, you get. Unfortunately, there is no end in sight. Because there is even more. I'll tell you this one, oh. That people are not thinking, just like the people of Niger Delta. When you see all these oil thieves, and those who are supposed to stop them, protect the environment, protect the people living in these areas. There are health concerns, there are health hazardous, there's hazardous content that are released into the air, wherever you are having mining, or you are having crude oil exploration, sure you get. There are toxic, hazardous content that are always in the air. Now, those who are supposed to reduce the exposure of those hazardous content are those who are providing security for the criminals who are releasing those hazardous content. Look at all the oil spills in Niger Delta. Look at the gas flaring in Niger Delta. Look at those who are now mining everywhere up north, killing people because they want to mine lithium. They want to mine, wait till be the other one, Californium. There are health concerns. There are hazardous health implication for all of this. In Niger Delta today, a lot of people, a lot of children are going to suffer different kind of health problems that they won't even be able to explain. Their water is contaminated. Their soil is contaminated. Now, their air is contaminated. The kind of air they breathe in every day, they don't even have a clue. Nobody can rate and say, oh, this is how dangerous the air is. Nobody is interested. It is just that money. So same thing is happening. If you go to so many parts of Yoruba land today, these illegal miners with all of these licenses are digging into the ground, chasing farmers away from their land, encouraging or forcing some of them to sell off the land or lose their lives, only to start digging different kind of minerals that they are digging out for profit and nothing about the environment. So if there's anything the world should know happening in Nigeria, is that you have a religious terrorist you have economic terrorists, and you have terrorists who are like, committing crime against humanity. You see, these people who are located in all these areas across Nigeria, they have been exposed to a lot of danger that will shorten their lives. And I don't think it's actually a concern for the criminals ruling Nigeria. You will never get justice anywhere governed by criminals. You will never get justice. I thought I should point that out. And then hopefully, the people of Nigeria, they will see more than what all those buzz sound and those distractive news, and probably look into how much danger these guys are condoning deliberately, all for money. Anyway, going forward, ladies and gentlemen, the rumor about Iran is Tinubu trying to get ready for a rerun. Where is that coming from? Well, it's all coming from the Labour Party chairman, Julius Abure. Well, he gave a press conference yesterday or so, or 2 days ago. In fact, yesterday. And in that press conference, he was calling on the obedient. Said, the obedient shouldn't, by any means, go and sleep. That from what they know, Tinubu is offering appointments to all the people they can find in opposition in a way that if the Court of Appeal Tribunal should order for a rerun, so that it would have enough people that will kind of, you know what I mean? I want you to listen. That's not the only thing they said, right? I'll join my own rejoinder. Have you shared this broadcast, by the way? Have you liked it? No, you haven't. Come on, you can still like it now. And have you shared the broadcast? No, you haven't. If you have done both, don't worry. Watch this. Abure, Labour Party chairman.
I appreciating the gentlemen of the press. Let me appreciate the members of the State Working Committee. Appreciate all the leaders of our party. We want to appreciate all the support group. We want to appreciate the PCC members who are here today. I want to start this address by first appreciating the gentlemen of the press for the immense support that the party have enjoyed. We appreciate your kind words. We appreciate you for all the support that you've given to the Labour Party, to the presidential candidates, and indeed to all the candidates of the Labour Party during the electioneering campaign and during the election itself and after the election. I want to say that our work was made easy because of your contribution and because of your support. There's no gainsaying the fact that the press adequately reported us very, very well, in spite of the fact that we're not having the huge resources, we're not having deep pockets to acquire the press as others will do. But out of your zeal, out of your magnanimity to promote the country, to have a new Nigeria, the press indeed supported us. I want to appreciate you for that, especially given the fact that I'm from Edo State, and most of you report from Edo State. I want to say that I'm grateful to you for what you've done for us. I am in the state. I came into the state since Friday. First, to appreciate the leaders of the party, our party members, for the feats we have achieved during the just concluded general election. I started my journey from my ward, Ward 3, Esa Northeast, where I met with all the leaders of the party and appreciated them for the good job they have done, because in my ward, I won all my elections. I won the presidential election. I did not just win my unit, I won the ward. In the presidential election, I won massively. The House of Assembly elections at the national level. They didn't allow me to have crisis at the state level. They supported me. In fact, the state chairman of the party was with me in Abuja, and they became my rallying point, became one of the sources of my strength. And therefore, I felt it was necessary to come and appreciate them, and I did that to the state working committee and the National Executive Council yesterday. We also took the opportunity to examine the party with a view to seeing, we did a postmortem of the just concluded general election with a view to planning for the 2020
election. Sorry, I just checked my time. I'm going to say the rest, okay? And then we can take it on. So Abure came out and said that from what they believe is